Hello, my friends, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today, we're going to cover something that should be the common practice in gaming. I've only ever actually played one of the Like a Dragon games, and that was actually Yakuza 0. And I haven't even beaten it. I've gotten, not very far into it, to be entirely honest. It seems fun. I just it hasn't caught my attention too much. It's one of those games I could sit and play, but I'm not too particularly likely to if I don't have an actual reason to. However, this article from Automaton by Amber V says, despite the influx of young and female fans, the Like a Dragon series will keep being about middle-aged guys doing middle-aged guys things, according to the devs. And honestly, that's what I prefer. If a bunch of fans suddenly start liking your game, changing it to supposedly attract more of those fans often creates a problem where you lose your old fans and then you lose the new fans on top of it. Excellent examples of these would be Disney Star Wars and any other game that's recently come out that's part of a series that they've decided to change. Dragon Age Veilguard, I think, is going to learn this lesson kind of difficultly as soon as it hits the stores. The series directors, Ryosuke Hori and Hirotaka Chiba, have been quoted as saying, "We are middle-aged white gays ourselves, so that's kind of the target audience we're going for, probably." And from what I've seen of the games, played actually of the games, it's all about, kind of guys hanging out and doing guy things. There's a conversation in here where they're talking about how the guys are hanging out with their girls and the girls start some girl talk, but then it gets turned into guy talk, and it's all about how guys kind of hang out. It says, two creators compare the feeling of playing Yakuza games to chilling out with older guys in a bar, as opposed to going on an exhausting drinking party with young people. Hori adds that characters are flesh and blood human beings, much like our players are, so their problems are relatable. That is why it's so easy to get into the game and feel like you're listening to conversations between ordinary people. There isn't any typical game-like language like "where is the treasure chest?" I'll be honest, I don't know that I've ever played a game that just straight up said, "Where's the treasure chest?" I might have, I just don't remember. This approach to the game's writing can be felt right down to the smallest topics, as Chiba explains. For example, there's a conversation where Adachi is conflicted about whether he should drink beer or not because he's worried about his uric acid level. We're making the hearty talks of middle-aged dudes our identity rather than youthfulness. And while I know some rather fantastical things happen in these games, and humorous things for that matter, they do the one thing that gamers seem to crave more than anything other than, of course, non-buggy gameplay and good mechanics, is create actual fleshed out characters. Their characters have personality, they have lives of their own, thoughts of their own. They worry about their uric acid levels, which realistically is not something I know too many people who do, but you know what? I do know one or two people who do worry about their uric acid levels. Go ahead and Google that if you're wondering what in the world that does to you. Continues, despite how the Like a Dragon series continues to grow, with more younger and or female players joining the player base, the devs do not intend to change the game's topics, commenting on the unexpected influx of female players. Hori says, "We have a large increase in new fans, including women, which we're truly happy and grateful for. However, we don't plan to do anything like deliberately changing conversation topics in order to cater to new fans. This would make us unable to keep talking about things like uric acid levels." There's a party chat in Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth where Sion Hee and Seiko's girl talk get hijacked by Nanba and end up turning into guy talk. I think situations like this will keep on happening, Chiba adds jokingly, which is honestly part of why women would also be attracted to the game. Yes, men are going to obviously resonate more with the specific topics of conversation, but I think almost any girl in this world can understand hanging out with their boyfriend, with other men, and having the conversation turned into something they were not prepared to discuss and is very male-centric. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. The one thing I appreciate most in this article is when they say our policy as creators has not changed. We are very grateful for the recognition we have received from overseas fans and new younger players, but we will not change our policy of creating games, which is based on our personal ideas of what is fun, Hori concludes. And I kind of wonder if a lot of game designers today have an idea of what they personally think is fun. I don't know that they really understand what a fun game is. There are too many designers that have come up with games that are just entirely unfun, and you wonder, did they play this at all? That new Dustborn game is an excellent example. I don't understand how someone came up with that game and thought, yeah, people are going to love playing this. Now, I'm sure that somewhere in this world, well, actually, I know there's somewhere in this world, there's about 15 people who are definitely enjoying that game right now. I keep saying it, there's an audience for every game. That audience may not be very big, though. You have to plan accordingly. That's exactly what happened to Concord. Concord had way too big of a budget for a game that had way too small of an audience. There were people, granted a couple hundred and slowly falling, that liked the game and were into it, but the budget for the game could not sustain that kind of player base. And I think part of the problem with these pumped up budgets is, obviously the lingering COVID money that was pumped into the economy. We could have a nice long discussion on inflation and what that's done to us, but I'll save that for a live stream. But because of government handing out money to various creative and entertainment sectors to help fund keeping people entertained during the lockdown years, a lot of these games had a lot more money than what they should have. Now, you can't really say something like that for something like Concord, because that's obviously started in development way before. There are going to be a lot of games that were created, that were started during those years, that are going to drop out and be completely flops here in the near future because people saw the money and wanted to get in on it. And a lot of those are going to be what has that kind of checklist feel, where they didn't design because of what they thought was personally fun, but because of what they thought was going to be the most profitable, the most marketable. And I know I say it time after time, but the fact of the matter is these large publishers, corporations, the very big companies with a lot of people and investors involved who decide that they know better than the people who are actually game designers, or even better than the customers, what they want, because they're either not actual gamers, or they listen to marketing and consultancy firms trying to tell them what they want. And the marketing consultancy firms have no real understanding of what people want, either. Because if there's one thing that you can easily skew to give you a result that you want, it's a poll. It's a survey. You ask the right questions in the right way and you get the right answer, even from people who don't necessarily agree with what you want the answer to be. So they can show all these polls and statistics that say, yeah, people want this. I have the proof right here. But if they didn't ask a wide enough variety of people, or even enough people, and too many people don't understand how to read statistics anymore. Statistical analysis and the understanding of everything behind it has gone out the window. I don't know if they even teach that in school anymore. I'm trying to remember where I learned it. I think it was either high school or college. I want to say it was high school, where they taught us that, every statistic has a pool of questions, and then they break down the different types of people they asked. And that was a long ass time ago. I wonder why I remember that. And it's one of those questions I wondered, did they teach in every school, or was it just my school? And then everybody else forgot it. But we're here for gaming, not my conjecture of why public education fails the public. Other things that fail the public are game publishers and developers. They fail to understand that when you just write something that is fun, then people are attracted to it. Not everybody's personal idea of fun is going to be fun to a large group, but there are ways to tweak it so that it will be. Obviously, the Like a Dragon guys have figured it out. They know how to make a game that is personally fun for them and that everybody else enjoys. I feel like the people behind Dragon Age used to know how to do that. And so many other games. I mean, Bethesda, Obsidian, all these big name publishers now, developers now, used to understand what made a game fun, or what they found fun in a game. And it seems like since they've been hiring new and younger people, and the older people are leaving to start their own independent studios, that of course the larger developers have stopped being as creative. Because while the kids knew what they liked to play, I don't know that they knew how to figure out how to make it new. And we've talked about that before too, especially regarding Dragon Age, when Aaron Flynn was talking about how they didn't know what the rules were because they were just creating the rules for the game back then. Now you have books that say this is how you have to design a game, and this is how you have to look at it to make it fun. And people don't look at those rules enough and step outside of them. Now, I can tie that back into the whole public school situation if I really wanted to. But again, I want to save that for a live stream when I can really go off. People have gotten way too fixated on the rules of development, on the rules of the game, one might say. The fact that people don't have a desire to find their own path anymore is a definite issue with gaming. These guys seem to have created their own path and they're happy to continue walking it, and they just want other people to join along if they enjoy it. And I think that's what I like about independent developers, is they all seem to have the passion for their game. And even if they don't develop something that I'm necessarily into, I love seeing people passionate about things. It's a good feeling to watch somebody happy to do what they're doing. Even if I know I'm not going to play the result, I can always be pretty sure that there's someone out there who will. It's a crazy world out there, folks. Anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough tonight. I do want to remind you guys there will be no video this Sunday. We're going to 6 days a week as opposed to 7. And I think I accidentally said 7 days a week on a stream earlier. But speaking of streams, I will be on my Horror Amarada channel. You can see the links up there for those above my head here. This evening, playing 7 Days to Die, if you want to stop by and watch some of that. And then on Sunday, there will be some D&D 3.5 that we're playing. On Monday, the video is going to be a little different. I played a tabletop game, a one-shot with a creator, and I'm going to put together my review of that. And then since I'm taking the day off for making a video tomorrow, I am also going to try to edit together highlights from the last stream, or at least clip out part of it, because I think I had an okay rant in there somewhere that might make an okay video. Hopefully. I don't know, we'll figure it out. That said, do you have any thoughts about this? I think the question I would have to ask is, do you think that them deciding to not budge on their development process is the right decision? Or do you think creators should be more agile in regards to how they create games to pull in new customers? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. If you really liked it, you can feel free to share it around, and I will catch you later.